What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another primary source walkthrough. This time we are going to be sifting through Benjamin Banneker's letter to Thomas Jefferson in 1791. Now, as the context introduction to the source tells you, Benjamin Banneker is a black intellectual. He wrote to Thomas Jefferson um, to take Jefferson to task. Let's be honest about what exactly Banneker's up to here. He's laying the smack down on Thomas Jefferson because in Thomas Jefferson, in his published notes on the state of Virginia, said that black people were incapable of intellectual achievement. Jefferson's notes on the state of Virginia would be questionable to us if they were published now, and they are quite questionable. They do say things like black people are not capable of intellectual achievement. He writes forcefully about the incompatibility of black and white people. Uh, it's it's something else, and all in the meantime, Thomas Jefferson is likely. The evidence is pretty clear that Jefferson is raping and fathering children by his slave Sally Hemings. There's a book by Annette Gordon Reed, The Hemingses of Monticello, uh, that you should read if you're interested in the question of Jefferson's parentage or parenting um, the Hemings children. In any case, so Banneker himself is a learned man. Now, he's had to learn things on his own because of his race, and he just wants to make sure that Jefferson knows that Jefferson's wrong. So he begins by opening with a bit of butt kissing, and this is what you do. Um, he kind of says, "Oh, you're so awesome," and um, I fully realize that if it wasn't for you and the revolution, I probably wouldn't even be able to speak like this. That's what he's saying here, and that's kind of how you start. But he also wants to point out that we are a race of beings who have long labored under the abuse and censure of the world. And by we, here he means black people. That we have long been considered rather as brutish than human, scarcely capable of mental endowments. And he's calling Jefferson out on that too. Now, when he, he there's a part that the edition here leaves out, but he continues here and he says, "Look, you Jefferson have to understand, and you should understand because you're a smart person, that these opinions about black people that we aren't capable of intellectual thinking or such the like. It has to be completely false because we were made from the same God. We have this common belief in God. We have this belief that God created all humankind and that we all have the same senses and the same faculties, and we might be different in society or religion or situation or skin color, but we're all the same family. Because we're all from the same God, which Jefferson would have to admit. Jefferson is a deist, and he does believe in a creator. So he would have to, he should accept this. Now, Banneker continues and says, "Look, if you're convinced of this, uh, it is your obligation then to extend your power and influence to bringing relief to every part of the human race. Okay? So if you believe in God, if you believe in the common parentage of humanity, then you have to make sure that all human beings receive the same amount of rights and privileges. And he says that, look, you notice this for yourselves. Okay? And for those inestimable laws, which preserve you the rights of human nature, was founded on sincerity, you could not be solicitous that every individual of whatsoever rank or distinction might with you equally enjoy the blessings thereof. He's saying you have to, if you believe that humans have rights, that they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, then you have to make sure that everyone has them. Okay? Now, Banneker continues and says, look, I realize I'm black. And again, it is thanks to you that I am not under that state of tyrannical thrall. Or sorry, not thanks. That's a different part. He's saying it is under a sense of the most profound gratitude to the supreme ruler of the universe. God has made it. Providence has made it so that I am not a slave. Otherwise, I could not speak to you this way. Now, he is going to continue and invoke the American Revolution in this next paragraph. So he says, Sir Jefferson, suffer me to recall to your mind that time in which the arms and tyranny of the British Crown were exerted with every powerful effort in order to reduce you to a state of servitude. And by arms here, he means weapons, ooh, I just hit my camera. Not like arms like that, okay? He's not like flailing octopus arms around. That's not what's going on. He means weapons. So, he's like, remember the revolution. And reflect on that time in which every human aid appeared unavailable and in which even hope and fortitude were the aspect of the inability to the conflict, and you cannot be but led to a serious and grateful sense of your miraculous and providential preservation. God bailed you out there then, too. By that same token, he says, this, Sir Jefferson, was a time in which you clearly saw into the injustice of a state of slavery, and which you had just apprehensions of the horrors of its condition. It was now, sir, that your abhorrence thereof was so excited that you publicly held forth this true and invaluable doctrine, which is worthy to be recorded and remembered in all succeeding ages. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So he's saying, how can you speak this way? How can you promote life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and still be a slave owner? You're a big old hypocrite. That you should at the same time counteract his mercies in detaining by fraud and violence so numerous a part of my brethren under groaning captivity and cruel oppression, that you at the same time should be found guilty of that most criminal act which you professedly detested in others with respect to yourselves. How can you do this? And this is a really important question, and it gets at this thing that we call the American paradox. How can the founding fathers, the framers of the Constitution, write so nobly about freedom while at the same time being slaveholders? It's an important question, and one that we have to deal with. That's why I assigned American freedom, American slavery as one of your potential secondary sources. It deals with that question. And I'm glad that Banneker is really bringing it out here. So, um, he continues on. He says, I know you know a lot about us. I'm not going to presume to tell you how to fix slavery or whatever. Um, but uh, he goes on, and now he's going to address the intellect point, and he's going to say, look, I've sent you my almanac, all of this information that I recorded during the previous year. I too am a scientist. I want to look into the quote unquote secrets of nature. He means science there. And he's applying himself to astronomical study, etc. And he's hoping to reverse Jefferson's thinking. And Jefferson, for what it's worth, um, by the end of his life, was at least willing to entertain the notion that slavery was not a positive good, as a senator from South Carolina will say prior to the Civil War. Jefferson came to understand slavery as a necessary evil, and did work at some really kind of backward abolitionist cause. Like he wanted to get rid of all of the black people he could and send them to Africa. He did set Sally Hemings' family free in his will when he died, but none of his other slaves. So Jefferson's an interesting character. In any case, I have you read this because I want you to see that the question about black freedom, anti-slavery in the founding fathers is not something new. It's something that was around from the very get-go. This was written in 1791. I mean, we're talking just a couple years after the framing of the Constitution. 4 years. Now, we do have to wonder how much, not how much, but, we have to wonder, and we really have to wrestle with this concept of our founding fathers believing some of these things and framing a government in a way that excludes black people right from the get-go. So when we talk about things that are controversial in our modern discourse, like the 1619 Project, which you may have heard a little bit about, the concerns that that project raised are valid, and they're not new. People want to pretend like they're new, but this primary source tells you, demonstrates to you that they are not new. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. If you have any questions about Benjamin Banneker and his letter to Thomas Jefferson, feel free to reach out to me via email or stop by an office hour. Happy to talk more with you. Until then, I hope you're staying healthy and safe, and I'll see you on the next one.